Será por capítulo. El fin de Peter el Negro. El icono de espacio de deducción indica que alguna de tus pistas puede formar alguna deducción importante y verte mucho en tu progreso o la investigación. Aparece cada vez que encuentras una pista. Pero tengo que ver cómo se juega. Todavía no sé cómo se juega nada. Elástico. Pensé que eran. Tu cuaderno. Ya. Ya eso ya salió. Trayendo el libro. Shit. Asesinato en el laboratorio con la soga. Qué guay.
Holmes!
Qué guay. Shit. Voy a cubrir con el sofá.
Holmes, will you stop that?
Shit. No, que me mate. Estamos recién empezando.
You are utterly mad.
Los vecinos van a llamar, weón.
Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
Paso firme. Esposas. Dientes. Policía. No me descarga Navidad. Rector Lestrade.
Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me.
Yo, cabrón.
Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Haré cuando apertura de su de investigación. Ya, tareas, investigar hacia la crítica Cari. Lee. Ya. Que meterle tan ¿no? Pruebas, Peter Cari, ahí está. También conocido como Peter Negro, nació. Nada de diálogos. Ahí está lo que ha pasado en este momento. Recuerdos, mensajes, perfiles. Investiga el asesinato de Peter. Ya, igual la movilidad está. Puedo hablar contigo. ¿Cómo hablo?
You go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of the mess you've made here.
Tengo que cambiarme ropa, ¿no?
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
A ver, si mis deducciones no fallan, El armario. El closet de estar aquí. Hasta que sí. El mejor Sherlock Holmes. Tengo que poner. Traje. ¿Qué pasó? Ah, me tenía que poner. Yo pensé que era cinemática. ¿Para qué esto? Para cambiarse el peinado. A ver. Ya, lance. El sombrero. Cachadito el corrido. No, pues tiene que ser simbólico. Así, pero no sé qué color, no sé cómo cambiar el. Ah, pero está bloqueado. ¿Está bloqueado? ¿Cómo no se bloqueó? Ah, yo creo que después, en el tiempo. No puedo hacer nada. Tengo que adaptarme con el mapa, tengo que ir caminando.
This is where I keep my post. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
Ah, ya estoy tan puerta. Yo pensé que era como un modo mundo abierto. Creo que tiene un taxi. Un jet privado. Llegamos ya. Meter el cari, soy un puto. Aquí puedo entrar la memoria.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Sí, estoy investigando, brother. Tengo alrededor jardín. Voy a ver si es que hubo algún intruso.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Mantenía en su negocio. Por muerto por causas naturales.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Eso que pasaría.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Estaba borracho. Eso fue anoche.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
¿Qué? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? Tengo que inspeccionarle su gorro, sus facciones faciales. Seguir viendo este puto ojeadora, ¿eh? Rosario católico, tengo que inspeccionar. Relleno capuchino, rosario católico, más feo. Guantes de jardinería, no parece que estaba solo aquí, ¿eh? Pasa pajarera.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
¿Puedo encontrar algo más? La tijera me la estoy dejando. Estaba... Ya, no. Ya, completado. ¿Qué estoy haciendo? Esto puedo investigarlo. Espera, esto va a pasar un rato.
Thank you, madam.
Prefiero no leerle cuando se lo encuentro.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes?
No hay nada más que decir. Solamente eso. Voy a revisar un permiso a...
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Pero no lo encontramos.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
Adentro donde tomaba un poquito de...
Mr. Holmes?
Ah, también. Estoy para el Mr. Holmes.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
Me sigo mi ojo águila, Ya, como veo aquí. Arañazo, sí. Exacto.
These scratches are fresh.
Un perro se quiso meter.
You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
Eso. Vamos a abrir. ¿Me abriste la puerta? Sí, está cerrada. Excuse.
What a terrible way to die.
De la misma manera como el cazado, directo al corazón.
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
Hey. Se ayude esa hoja aquí. Ya tengo el completo de ella.
Old navigation instruments. Nothing interesting.
Como que no hay la brújula. A ver, navegación, no es interesante. Estamos listos aquí. A ver, hay una botella abierta. Bastante, parece bastante bien. Como que él tenía libros, pero no leía ni una. No, está aburrido.
The tooth of a sperm whale. Probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Captures. Polvo.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here, It was larger than a book, a box or a small chest, perhaps.
Una caja. Like a box. Aquí hay otro diente de tiburón, puede ser. Vamos a ver la mesa.
The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work. This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my association.
Rota y forma. Hay un barco. Por aquí, por ahí. Por ahí va, por ahí va. No, por ahí. Por ahí no va. Semita. Semita. Como por ahí, muy complicado. Por ahí está. Casi por ahí.
Yes. This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Primero yo.
Rum, a sailor's drink.
Paso sucio y dos
Someone
vasitos.
drank from this glass recently. It seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Vamos a examinar el piso, a ver.
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
No, está prendida, locura que tengo calor.
This wooden handle is plain and solid. This wooden handle is plain and solid.
Ahora por rotar por el lado, no. Ah, pues estoy pegado.
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did.
No tuvo éxito. No quería soltármelo, sorry.
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
¿Cómo es el nombre oficial? Se cambió el apellido. No, así. Tengo que
JH.
Qué difícil este detective.
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Es un número telefónico, ¿no?
This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer.
Completamente entendido, claramente. Vamos a examinar.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
Lo mismo que dije cuando entré.
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
El tabaquito. También tengo el perfil completo de este. Ve, que me dice ve. No sé qué puedo hacer. No. Así que no. Eso es realizable. Se muestra en rojo las que no pueden. Ya, y realizar, o sea que ninguna se puede realizar hasta el momento. O sea, de cuaderno con instantáneamente. Tengo una. Debemos preparar en buscar esta noche para ver si se repite instantáneamente. Ya.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
No es tan fácil, no realizo una tarea de un momentito. Tengo que trabajar varios días por ahí.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. The murder weapon was probably taken from this rack.
Falta una. Realmente falta una. La acostumbrado a dormir en...
Dundee.
Money.
Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
It's a whaling map. Pero de qué, ¿por qué me... ¿Qué sale por
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn.
¿Qué significa eso? Agarre, no puedo mirar. No, esto ya no está mirado. Está placa. El hornito que está prendido. No. Ahora contigo vamos a preparar algo.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oh, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Vamos a tener por aquí el bote, ven. Vamos a ver aquí. Hay marcas, mira.
These boots don't match the footprints. These footprints appear to be quite...
Son más de 38. Puede que hayan sido los mismos guardias. Power of Night Chief, ya. Voy a pasar permiso, señorita, voy a pasar a su patio trasero ya. A ver si puedo entrar a su casa sin que me pille forzando la... Ah, no tengo cuchillo. A ver si encuentro huellas para acá, bueno. Encuentro las mismas huellas para la casa, así que tengo suerte. Estas son las mismas que están ahí.
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank you, madam.
Mira, tío, bueno. Ahí. ¿Entra aquí o no? Está cerrado. Claramente. Claramente hay una pista aquí que estoy dejando pasar.
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884.
Que me estoy dejando acá, no me estoy dejando nada. Me faltan objetos. Algo me estoy dejando. Aquí tenía su hielo, su reserva de ron. Vamos a estar.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Ah, espera de eso, ahí nada. Se me está dejando una pista. Capítulo 2 como 8 horas. Aparecerá un breve resumen. Ya. Estoy leyendo eso porque es importante como no se jugar. Hay que leer todo lo que dice. Como si fuera un manual. Pero no nos van a ver ahí. Se ve todo así pelado.
Shh! Did you hear that?
Cállate, weón, no puedo escuchar.
There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there. All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here, waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Sea generoso con él. Creo que todavía no está claro. Es pura introducción. Debe ser. No, ¿para dónde voy? Investigar si se lograron sospechosos en caso de que no completen la ya.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Yeah. Voy a investigar primero sobre este antes de interrogarlo. Vamos a ver, me dijeron que aquí están sus pertenencias.
These are the suspect's belongings. A handkerchief with the initials JHN.
From Earl Dawson to my friend and partner,
A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Staff room. Morgue.
Locked.
Aquí debe estar cerrado entonces.
The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
Pura reina, no sé qué significa eso. Tiene un patch. O sea que ya estamos peleando este. Cuello delgado. Tejido caro. Tiene marcas de trabajo forzado. Claramente trabaja con cuchillo este tipo. Mangas cortas, o le queda corto. La chaqueta no era de... Luego me estoy dejando... Pantalones son mangas cortas. Botones historiados.
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan. Well, I will see you soon.
Please, let me go. I'm innocent.
Lo siento, pero... Qué difícil. Ya, aquí hay que ver. También te tira. ¿Qué puse? No sé qué puse. No sé qué puse. Enteramente. Ya, entre dos. Tenemos que averiguar si no me... Si no te sale ni práctica, podremos mejorar por bastante como lo metamos en balance. Chucha.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
Tienes pinta de ser marinero. Supongo que es por algo, ¿no? Encuentra acá. No creo que encuentre Peter Carey. Puedo entrar por acá. En el futuro no puedo. Tengo que ir a hacer la reconstrucción. Investigar a Peter Carey y se me va a partir que está en la zona de prueba. Tengo que hablar con él. Resolución, tengo otra aquí. Usted todavía me estoy enfrentando a cuando fallaron el choque de sangre víctima, lo que podemos la posibilidad de que lo realizara. Creo que sí, bueno. Las únicas dos opciones que tengo son esas. Ya, miro, ya estoy listo para aparecer. Hablar con mi querido Watson. Por favor.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No. But we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible. But if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely. I need to take a harpoon with me.
¿Cómo deducciones que hacer? la reproducción. Yo creo que hay formas de hacerlo más rápido esta reducción, pero bueno, este es el gameplay de LilVan. Vamos a buscar el árbol.
That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
I'm ready for the experiment. Tengo que ir a... Tengo caleta de misiones por hacer.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
Oh.
Holmes, you should try to aim better and throw as hard as you can. The harpoon has struck the body, but...
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
Apóyame el pone acá, puta señorita, lo siento. Ya, acá en la pared. Ya, forzar aquí, claramente era eso. Para atravesar el pecho enorme con el puño que la pared requiere muchísima fuerza que la medida, seguramente también se ve. Hay dos posibilidades. Yo creo que por fuerza, va por... Creo que lo había asesinado a alguien. No sé. Vamos a Scotland Yard. Visitar a nuestro amigo. No sé cómo se llama.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Locked.
What am I doing?
Shit.
These are the suspect's belongings. And partner, 1883.
Yes.
To my friend, from R. Dawson. Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
Dawson.
These are the suspect's belongings.
No tiene ningún error, todos son problemas. Ya, vamos a hablar contigo, compañero, a ver. John Holly Carrigan, o sea, Nelligan. ¿Qué tienes para mí?
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
Oh,
The police.
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
Eso dice él. No. El chaqueta de su padre puede ser.
So, Mr.
The ring is mine.
Es tuyo.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Well, I will see you soon, young man. Locked. These are the suspect's belongings. These abbreviations.
Algo significan, pero ¿qué significan? Voy a empezar a ver el mundo de este tipo. Voy aquí. Puede que haya sido esto. Puede que le haya robado. Si todo tiene su porqué. Tenemos que callar la fidelidad de todo esto. Oh, no le vi los pies, weón. Te mira los pies, loco. Me quiero un objeto aquí para acá. Permiso, señorita. Creo que llega y entra, si no hace, no pide. Hey. Me sigue faltando algo, ¿qué me falta? Una pala aquí. Estoy usando ideas como para hacer mi jardín.
Thank you, madam.
No he dicho nada, no me dijo nada. Igual, no importa. Ya, voy a apuntarle ahora.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock. I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
Thank you, madam.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Traen 2 vasos. Azul ladrón, pero entonces, ¿qué es? So hard. Personas que me quedan. No tengo más pruebas. Son las neuronas que están trabajando. Después me puedo ver. Para mi casa a lo mejor me voy a pasar. Bueno. Habla como huevos, a ver qué puede ser.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
Tengo a cambiarme ropa, pero... Aunque ni me he bañado, pero... Este tipo no hace su cama. Oh, yo me robé la caja, weón. Ah. Yo soy el asesino. Oscar Robert Dawson. Ah, cacha.
That is not the one I need.
Es lo que necesitamos, sí, no.
That is not the one I need.
A lo mejor no tengo el libro, no lo compró.
That is not the one I need.
Va a tener que haber
That is-
estado y no sé qué.
That is... That is not...
No quiero soltármelo. Para acá. Luego se en la izquierda. Aquí está. El fondo de inversión todos son en Nelligan. Se fue. Joshua Nelligan. Banco.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
Vamos a preguntarle. seguro. Dale, busco un poquito más.
My archive. I can always consult.
Ya, vamos a Scotland Yard. De punta. Eso se de noche que tiene. Me ha costado un poquito. Y eso que soy bueno para el club. Que hasta el más inocente puede ser el... La señora. Aquí estamos de nuevo. Yo soy su abogado. Que te va aquí colgado. Jaja.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes. Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress.
Tengo colección de historia.
Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
¿Cuál era su jardinero?
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Tranquilo, bro. Si ya estamos... El diario a bordo. ¿Dónde encuentro el diario a bordo? A ver, en mi casa. ¿En mi casa o en su casa? En mi casa puede que no tenga. Voy a revisar el diario.
My archive. I can always consult. My archive. I can all. My.
¿Qué? No tiene que ser. El diario de a bordo. ¿Dónde saco ese diario? Hasta cualquier vecino, bueno.
$1883. That's the one I
Ahí
need.
estamos. Te voy a tener su diario.
This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn. This log notes for June. Nothing unusual. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
Wow. Eso es bacán. Un bono de valor de la ganancia posible por fallar el interior de la base. En este caso ya tiene dueño. Pero no lo voy a
Something
decir
new,
hasta el
Watson.
final.
I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they are still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard,
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialists.
and who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang.
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
Solo tengo que llamarle, dice.
Watson, I need Wiggins. Is he anywhere nearby?
He's right across the street.
Este es el de Watson. Ah, Watson es el que creo. No es cierto, Watson, ah. A cruzar la calle, dice. No está, po. Estoy en Baker Street.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
¿Descubrió algo? Voy a ir a la estación. Está bastante complicada esta primera, pero ya sé ya quién es. Claramente sé quién es. El detective.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
Eso que hicieron, imbéciles. De la forma más caballerosa, viejo. Impresionante. Uy, zapatitos.
These are the suspect's belongings.
Vale, la carta primero.
The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it. Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
¿Su número?
These are the suspect's
Primero
belongings.
tengo que investigar a los marineros. Yo creo que de aquí...
I wonder if these are connected. Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
Sí, el mejor tengo para hacer una deducción. Vamos a interrogar primero al sospechoso. Ahora voy a abrir la puerta. Antes de aquí voy a hacerme bueno. Quiero llegar con pruebas concretas. Continuar. Vamos a probar. A ver. Esto quiero ver.
These boots match the footprints exactly.
Exactly. Eso es lo único que podamos hacer. Bueno, robarlo, pero esos bonos de valores estaban guardados en una caja tan roba. Mira. Puede ser motivo. Pero aquí se van conectar. No sé si yo pongo la segunda afortunada, ¿para dónde se tira? Todavía no. Espérate. Es muy fuerte acusar. Primero a este tipo a ver si tiene fuerza bastante para...
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see. Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
Es que tengo que hacerle un perfil. Anda un poquito pañuelo con el río, etiqueta, restos de plantas. Este weón, como que no, mentiroso culiao.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Porque va a estar ahí, porque jardín.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
That's all for now. Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
¿Qué? No, no quería interrogar a nadie más.
Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belonged to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man.
I'm not saying another word.
Ya, supuestamente era jardinera, me falta una persona acá. Voy para la casa, ¿qué tienes para mí? Por favor, te está haciendo luz. Tanto decir me ha dado hambre. Que me ha dado hambre, joder. algo para mí o no? ¿Qué? Oye, oye, que andamos mirando, weón.
Brave Toby.
A new suspect, but this one refuses to talk. This case is more interesting than I first imagined.
Va a tener que ir a Woodman Lee a ver la pajarera, porque tenía pinta de puñuelo.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Thank you, madam.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Voy a comprar suficiente producto de Android, pues. Tengo que ir a Scotland Yard, no, pues no tengo nada que hacer porque no me ha llegado ninguna notificación. Posiblemente, a ver. Ya. ¿Esta va a ser la prueba, no? ¿Cómo hago una prueba de tinte? ¿Puedo hacer algo acá? No, no. Y acá. Tampoco, no puedo hacer. ¿Qué quiero hacer con la carta? ¿Dónde vais? Si estoy apuntando acá.
How is the investigation going, Mr. Holmes? Do you have any idea who the murderer is yet?
I'm not saying another word.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing.
Me estoy dejando.
Mr. Holmes?
Me estoy dejando. Esta weá tiene la tinta. Realizar análisis. ¿Cómo hago un análisis? La tengo que ver. ¿Cómo la miro? ¿Cómo la miro? Eso es lo que hace.
These are the suspect's belongings. These are the suspect's belongings.
¿Cómo? Realizar análisis. ¿Dónde está pasando el análisis? Ver para allá, ver la escena escriben si es que hay tinta por ahí, por allá. Le da pura vuelta. Le ha estado como 30 minutos puro este buen que se han caído. Esta carrera encima. ¿Cómo?
My archive. This.
Aquí tengo.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. No, something isn't right. I need to start the reaction from the beginning again.
Shit, qué difícil. Solo verde, pero... Puedo.
No, something isn't right.
Shit.
I need to start the reaction from the beginning again.
The beginning again. Viste los reactores fraccionados con solo instrucciones en papel.
First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. Now I can proceed further.
What the fuck?
Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
Vamos a limpiar un poquito.
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this? My analysis table.
Ya. Vamos a Scotland Yard. Vamos a investigar a LilVan ahora. Pasarle la carta, por favor.
Please escort this suspect
Nada que no,
for
weón, nada que no voy a hablar,
interrogation.
vente conmigo al toque, weón, te conviene.
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
¿Quién fue a buscarlo?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept, at Woodman's Lee.
Woodman's Lee. Voy a dar, yo supongo dónde. Ok, me estoy llenando de dudas. La casa está en diseño así como...
Locked. Locked. Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam.
Gracias.
Let's see what could be hidden here.
Hice una caja como esa. Ya, mami, gracias. Oh, ahí está, cajita de madera. Tiene una llave.
Let us see what is in this box.
Ya, rata, como la rata.
bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting.
Eso es todo. Para leer, para cambiar. Por favor.
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
What are you talking about?
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Thank you, madam. I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Señorita, esto no es hacerlo. Se lo sufre más porque está sufriendo. Porque son todos mentirosos.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see. This is interesting. Let us review the other sailors now. This is interesting. This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch. Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
If I wish to speak to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor.
Momento, marinero.
Now I can approach Cairns and see if he recognizes the pouch.
Hasta ya vamos a dejar nuestra primera etapa. Gracias por ver y sigamos en la próxima. Adiós.